I can hear you perfectly fine. I can see you occasionally.
Exciting.
Sporadically, you jump.
I'm jumped. Let me know when it's getting too jumpy. Oh, it's exciting! It's good to see you. It's really good to see you.
Yeah. What's going on? You these double lives. That confused me.
Say it again.
I said you lead these double lives. That confused me. I hadn't realised you're an adventure nut. I just thought you were a running girl.
No,
lots about biomechanics, but no, you have another life too.
No, the running was just a result of I did like a triathlon across 3 countries, and which was 1,140 kilometers. And when I ran across Austria, the 260, I got injured, and this is how the whole running mechanic started.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
I see. I see. I see. Yes. So this is just a byproduct of everything else.
Absolutely. The passion is the adventuring and creating something outside the box.
Never knew this. You didn't reveal this in your initial greeting.
Didn't I?
No.
And I didn't know either. I remember the first time you came in, it was just your injury, and the focus was just on your injury. And then
I could wear shoes.
Yeah, I know.
I was a flip-flop bound for many months, well, many weeks, and so now I'm wearing shoes again. In fact, I'm wearing. Can't quite see them.
Ah, which ones are they?
I'm not very flexible.
I don't know. I can see the stiffness in your hips.
Yeah. Can you tell?
Not really.
I thought I was quite fluid there.
What kind of shoes are these ones?
The Merrill Bare Access.
Ah.
So they're quite light, and they've got a bit of cushioning, so they don't completely kill myself. I'm trying out different bits and bobs today.
Yeah, they give you different shoes, and it's good to try different things out.
But these are a bit more runnable. You're breaking up.
Am I still here? Am I still here?
Yeah, you break up. You break up for a second.
Is it me or is it you? This is the big question. Is it the internet on this side or the internet on your side?
I think it's probably more like me than you.
I could say it's me as well. We can share it. We can make it 50-50. No, you're breaking up. That's cool.
Yeah.
This is...
I have a pint.
Have a coffee. Drink a pint for me.
You have a coffee. I know, but I was on my way home to see you, and to see you like this, and it started absolutely nailing it, the rain, properly nailing it. So I stopped in a pub, and I've been waiting for it to stop raining, and it hasn't.
As if this would
fairly miserable.
As if this would stop you. From all the adventures you have been doing, the rain is holding you back.
It's holding me back, man. I was just trying. There it was, my favourite pub, and so it just happened to be en route. And I thought I'd stop, and then I decided to have a drink, and that's lethal. And I have to go for a run later as well, so that's not very good. And swim. And in fact, this is a great time to go swimming because the swimming pool will be empty.
Absolutely. Where do you go swimming?
Because it's raining, so no one will want to go swimming. So that's my theory.
Hey, where do you go swimming?
Shooting Lido.
I was there this morning.
I should have been there this morning, but I was weak and didn't wake up.
What's your training schedule at the moment? What are you doing?
Not enough is the simple case.
Come on, it's never enough. It's like actually it should be the flip side of the coin. Like 8 hours you're moving and 2 hours you're sitting. Yeah. What are you training for at the moment?
Yeah, it's not quite like the O to low.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that one. I can hear you.
The O to O. The O to low. The O to low. The O to low. Wait one.
Yeah. Congratulations to your marriage, by the way.
I haven't got there yet. Thank you.
Oh, you haven't got there yet?
Can you see that?
Serve, dome, O till O?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, what is O till O?
It's a swim run across the Swedish archipelago, 75 kilometres.
75.
And
in total?
Yeah, 10k of swimming, 65k of running, 26 islands. You swim between the islands, you run across them. You swim in your shoes, and you run in your wetsuit. It's a complete head mess.
Sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, it's going to be wicked. So it's very hard, and it involves being a really good swimmer, of which I am not.
This is always the challenge.
Yes, I've chosen the sport that I'm least good at. This is the swim run world championships, and not just like the little one. This is the main event. This is the big boy. This is the one that people train for, qualify for. You enter by merit.
Yeah.
Not like you can just enter. I glut my way in.
So you're already in.
Yeah. It's in 2 weeks' time.
How?
Zane and I are doing it together.
Yeah.
9 days before our wedding. 9 days. This is the race that you don't do as a couple. In fact, you choose the person, your partner, very carefully as someone who would be very patient and that you can basically shout out when they're being too slow or you're being too slow and you don't mind being shouted at, or when one of you gets too cold or hungry or wet or miserable or tired or just can't go on.
But you chose your partner.
Yes.
So let's start actually, this is the beautiful thing. So I want to interview you. So what I'm doing at the moment is, because I've been quite focusing on the biomechanics kind of side, so I felt like I was lacking a little bit the adventure spirit. While I want to interview 100 adventurers, like from different categories, to see what ignites their passion, what obstacles they have, what crazy ideas they come up with, how it makes them grow as a person. Because it's interesting to see for a couple of different people. So I would record our interview and just put it up for people to watch.
If I'm not moving around too much, and I would get a better signal if I could get outside. It's still pissing down.
Yeah, it's fine. It looks fine. If it's breaking up too much, it's this is real life.
Happy, far away.
It happens as it happens, because then everything you're telling right now already is already part of the exciting bits for people to know.
Well, the fact that I stopped for a pint on my way home trying to be interviewed by you, and I couldn't quite get there, and it's still, honestly, you need to see this. It's horrible.
Yeah, I'm looking outside the window as well. There you go. I'm just around the corner.
Look at that.
Yeah, I know. It's good though.
Can you see rain?
I can see
you
rain.
Probably can't see rain. Where are you?
I'm at Clapham at the moment.
Which corner? Where are you? You're like next door.
Clapham North.
You're Clapham Common?
Yeah.
You're about a mile and a half away.
I know. Who's going to come?
Literally about a mile and a half.
Either I come and get a pint of beer, or you come going through the rain.
Yeah, you could just come here.
Yeah.
Instead, I can't move there. You can move.
Oh, yeah. We're going to flip a coin who's going to move.
I'm not waterproof anymore. I'm not my waterproof.
That is awesome. Are you tooting back louder every day, or what's your...
No, 3 days a week. Twice a week, in fact. I swimming lessons.
With Dan?
Morning, and I go to Shepperton with Dan. Everyone.
Yeah, the Dan.
You know Dan?
Yeah, of course I know Dan.
How do you know Dan?
Well, I was at the Tooting Bec Lado quite long when I did my long distance swim in the Danube River, which was 200. So I prepared in the Tooting Bec Lado before to prepare for the cold water swimming. So I swam there, and then I met the whole lot. I met Nando from the Tooting Bec Cafe, the big dude, the big chap.
I haven't met him. There's a whole crew of people that are from the South London Swimming Club that hang out there. I see them quite a lot. It's
amazing when you go there. When it's getting really cold, it's so amazing. You dip into the water, and when I first jumped in, it was like a freaking nightmare. You go there when it's 8 degrees or 10 degrees, and it's just, you think your face is going to die as soon as you dip it into the water. And then you do 1 or 2 lengths, and then you hop out, and then you go into the sauna. The best thing ever. So I love the Tooting Bec Lado. It feels bigger. Hey?
The what, sorry?
Tooting Bec Lado feels bigger. it feels when you go to a pool, but the tooting big glider is like it feels like this big beast you're in, and it's just yeah. So Dan is a good chap. Dan is a good
He's
chap.
awesome. So he's been teaching me how to swim, and because I can't swim, well, I can kind of swim, but swim badly. Like I don't have any technique. I'm self-taught, so essentially I'm trying to I don't swim well. It's not what I. If I had to pick a superpower, like what I'm really good at, swimming would be not even like second or third or fourth. It would be 8.
You can't be that bad. I don't believe you can't be that bad.
Pretty bad.
You know, a friend of mine, he's gonna start. He wants to swim Loch Ness next year, and he wanted to break the world record in space hopping, which he did I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Impressive.
And random. It was just really random.
Yeah, very random. I have no desire to try and break that record.
No, you can shape your legs by it. It's like it's an interesting thing. So he said like, oh, I want to swim this, but I can't swim. So when someone says I can't swim, you picture it in a way. Yeah, right. You just don't look good when you're swimming. He went into the water and he looked like a drowning dog. He just literally couldn't swim.
He couldn't swim.
He can't swim at all. So this is his challenge up to the next year.
That's a good challenge, and actually, it's quite exciting learning how to swim because it's something that you think you can do and realise you're not doing very well at all. People just overtake me all the time. It's really depressing. But now I'm overtaking people take dog paddle, which is pretty cool. The occasional breaststroke I overtake. it's beginning.
It's the competition inside of us.
For a few minutes.
Yeah, I see a swimming coach at the moment as well in Swim Canary Wharf.
Ah.
Have you ever? It's amazing. The thing is, he films you in an endless pool. Like just going there is amazing because it's this unit in this old Canon, where there was like Canon production or Canon manufacturing in Canary Wharf. And it's just this small unit. You go in there, you have this endless pool, and he films you from 3 different angles. And it's really good to see you. And then he spots out 1 or 2 things. So he has been amazing.
I don't think I'd like that. I've done occasional filming underwater. I don't know what I see. I just don't look cool. I don't look...
You don't need to look cool.
I don't look like a swimmer. You know, some people...
They're breaking up.
Mark Foster recently. He is amazing underwater. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I swam with Mark Foster a few weeks ago.
Really?
About a month ago. And
how come you swam with Mark Foster?
And he's because I am very lucky. I'm very lucky. I got to interview him and did a swim masterclass with him. Just the 2 of us in Parliament Hill Library. And it was very, very cool. Very, very cool in fact. I should send you. I can probably in fact, send you a photo of that now, and you can just see how enormous the boat is.
Wow, this is inspiring.
This is. You can see a picture of him now. 1 moment. I'll drop it into you. Oops, hang on, that's on. That's the wrong button. Send files.
It's so funny. There was one thing where I said, like, at one point, I'd love to be trained by an Olympian or someone where you really immerse yourself. Let's say for, a month, someone who kicks your ass and you really go up to the level where you're amazingly good. And for some reason, I looked when I was going up this escalator. Mark Foster, his picture was there all the time, and now you're telling me you swam with Mark Foster. This is so random. Just get it. This is amazing. What did you... I'm just loading it up.
You got it?
Yeah, it's just loading. So what did you interview him about?
How to swim. He's doing a triathlon. His first. In fact, he did it. London triathlon last weekend. 2 weekends ago. And he's never done a triathlon before. And so I have done a few. It was really about swimming and embracing your fear, and it was. You can read it. It's online. Yeah, on my column.
That is amazing. I will
Google Mark Foster, Tobias Mews. then you'll find it. Very cool. He's a really nice guy. Very tall. Very, very tall.
He's a really nice guy.
And I was, properly, I was craning my head to see him. You'll see this photo now. I'll show you.
It's 1 minute remaining.
Let me know if it gets to you. Send files in a second.
So do you have your own columns somewhere where you always do your recent projects, or is it like
This
always?
is so enormous. It was kind of weird. Do you have what, sorry?
Do you have like your own columns somewhere in the news?
One moment. Do I have my own pub?
No. Do you have your own pub? No. Do you
Have
have your
my what,
own?
sorry?
Do you have your own column where you have like always? Do you pick projects and then you write about it, or do you just people ask you to do different interviews? What do you do?
I do both. So most of the time, it's me coming up. So essentially, all I do is I find things. My kind of rationale is I have to be interested in what I'm writing about. So if I'm not interested, I don't want to write it, and therefore no one will want to read it if I'm not interested. So that's the kind of the premise of it. So if it's someone interesting, or if it's an interesting topic, then and I'm already engaged, then that's cool. Mark Foster, I wanted to meet. We went to the same school. He's a really good swimmer. I can't swim. He's a foot taller than me. We look comical together. It's a good opportunity. Gosh, done. But so half the time, maybe 30% are ideas that people would throw me. So like today, there's a guy that's running his 990 marathon on Sunday. A guy called Brian Mills. So that's quite interesting. He's about to reach his 1,000 the following weekend. Be interesting to talk to him. He wants me to go and run a marathon with him on Sunday. I'm trying to work out if I can fit that in. And then this week I wrote about the Red Bull Air Race, which is pilots flying through. As an interview with pilots who are in their 50s, who are top of their game, who do acrobatics in the sky, who do racing in the sky. Really cool. This weekend that's coming out is a piece about the Bob Graham round, which I did a couple of weeks ago, or tried to do, and that is an attempt I did of this hardcore running challenge in the Lake District that was nails and was too difficult, basically, and I didn't complete it. And so they're all things that basically I've done or want to do. And my kind of, if anyone ever asks me, oh, do you want to go and do this? I always say that unless I can do it, I'm not interested in doing it. So I have to have experienced it, felt it, seen it, whatever, before I write about it. Otherwise, generally speaking, I'm not doing it. After all, I might as well choose things so I get something out of as well, as opposed to just writing about.
That's a really good way of looking at it. Good. Let's start. Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Win-win.
That's it. That is really good. The pictures are still loading, so I'm looking forward to have a look at them as soon as they're on.
They're quite big. They're quite big. So yeah.
6 seconds remaining. 4 seconds remaining. 3 seconds remaining. Let's have a look. Thank you for the time, by the way. It's really nice to catch up with you.
Oh, pleasure. Sorry it's taken a while.
It's fine. It's so random, bumping in. And it was so funny when we met at Vivo as well.
I know. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. So it's so many different things. Let's see. Yeah, I was at Vivo to learn more about the whole running mechanics. This is why I started to work with them. But it's...
Are you still doing it?
No. There's only like 1 more week. And then it's done.
Oh, right, okay. And then what?
So, on the one hand, I'd like to help establishing like this educational program about running, just as like a program to pass on the knowledge and message, but also like focusing more on my adventure stuff, because it's really what drives me. And then written my first book, so I want to see maybe having a look of how to use it, and there is a couple of other ideas, so I'm just gonna put it back out again. I've just been on hold for a bit, just focusing on one thing, but now it's gonna unleash yourself. This is what I love doing. So, yeah. Right.
That's the plan.
Hi.
Have you got a new challenge ahead?
Yeah, there are a couple.
A new challenge ahead. Have you got a plan?
I think I was looking for a challenge that really excites me, and so far nothing has come up where I say, this is really something I can't do, something I really want to do. And I think after having done like this really huge triathlon, it's like I learned how to swim. Ooh, they're having fun in the background.
Right behind us. There's always fun in the background.
Yeah, I think it was something that really excites me. Ideally, I'd like to do something that I maybe can't do. So I learn it along the way because it's always like a driving force.
Yeah.
There was nothing in specific. It turns out swimming is one of my loving sports. I love swimming. Quite the opposite. I love it.
You're lucky.
For you, it's your running.
Yeah, it is running. Running's what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And I find it easy, but it's easy to concentrate on what you're good at.
Yeah.
And then not do the things that are difficult.
But this is how you found out your new challenge. You just took swimming with that you can't do. Now you're learning how to swim. So it's always the work in progress.
Yeah. But it's knowing when you've bitten off more than you can chew.
Say it again.
It's knowing when you've bitten off more than you can chew. So I may have taken on too big a challenge that I can't do. That's the...
You will see when you get there, no?
Yeah, but you see, I spend every weekend, I go to Shepperton Lake and I join the hundreds of other triathletes who are training, and there's quite a few people doing this race, this 0 to low race. You can see them because we've all got our wetsuits are cut off at the knees. Our wetsuits look literally like this, so they've got no arms, they've got just, they're cut there, and we're carrying full boys, and we've got hand paddles on, and we look a bit silly. And we're going, what are those guys doing? It's really weird. They're like running, and they run into the lake with their shoes on. And anyway, we see other people, and so I do that every weekend. And every weekend I get overtaken by everybody, and even the guys that are doing the race who are swimming in their shoes with a little rucksack type, camelback on the back. They overtake us all the time.
You're just very competitive. For you, it's not about whether you can finish the challenge. You just want to, you want to rank really good as well. You want to finish it good. Come on, I can see it.
I completely agree with you. I am competitive. But this is not competitive. I'm really competitive in things that I know I'm good at. So when I'm not good at something, I take away the competition, and it's all about just doing well for me.
Are you sure? Are you sure you can take it away like this?
Absolutely positive. Absolutely positive.
Okay.
However, no. If someone overtakes me who I feel shouldn't be overtaking me, then I'm competitive. If, however, it's just a case of me versus nature, which this is the case of, then I'm not competitive with anything but nature. This is the clock. There's a really tight cut-offs. It's not designed for novices. This is like me entering the Olympic triathlon race. Like not the Olympic, just like I'm going to the Olympics. I'm competing against the Bradleys. They're going to be well ahead of me, and I'm going to be so far behind that the stand would have packed up. They would have sucked the water out of the lake. They would have finished, and everyone would have gone home by the time I finished. That's what I'm afraid of, and happening in the sea, basically. So I'll miss the cut-offs with Zayn, and then that would be bad.
You're going to be fine.
Bad.
You only find out once you start anyway. It's an interesting one, though. It's interesting to see how we tick the more adventures kind of you do. And I think I want this. On the one hand, you can overthink which one is the next challenge. I think this is what I like when I had a look at your website. You just do a lot of stuff. So I don't know whether you actually think about. You just pick it. Yeah, that's the thing.
Someone just says, "Would you like to do it?" And I go, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." Yeah. Like this month, I've got asked. Supposed to be doing. I'm not going to do it because I don't have time. But a river rat race on the weekend. The following weekend, I'm going to try and do the Xterra triathlon. The weekend after that, I'm going to be doing the Otello. The weekend after that, I'm supposed to be having my stag do.
You're going to come up with a crazy idea anyway.
I haven't told anyone I'm having my stag do yet, so that's a problem. And then, but then that weekend is there's a stair challenge.
You're breaking up.
The NSPCC. So I thought, cool, I'll do that on Sunday. It's only like 5 minutes of my time, so that's not bad enough. It's still raining. It is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, so well, the point of this, everything's chosen on randomness, and so I'm doing lots of marathons. I'm going to New York for the New York Marathon, and then I'm doing a marathon in New Zealand the same month for the Queenstown International Marathon. And I'm off to the Cayman Islands 2 weeks after that to do the Cayman Islands Marathon. January, and stuff. So it's all really random, And then we're going to go and have a honeymoon at some point, which will probably involve, like crossing Africa or something like that. That would be cool.
Do you plan ahead? Do you plan your adventures quite ahead? Like some people have really like a schedule. Like in the next 3, 6 months, 12 months, I'm going to do this.
No, I'm like about. Some things I'm quite far ahead, but on the whole I'm like a month ahead myself. I'll have the weekends kind of penciled in, but it'll be very loosely penciled. So not saying if something better comes up, but essentially I don't know how my body will be feeling, what the rest of my life is doing, and but I'll be competing, 2 to 3 times a month.
This is awesome. Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. What is an adventure for you? If you would define adventure, what does it mean to you?
We were discussing this the other day, actually. And so this Bob Graham round that I was having a go at, it was meant to be an attempt, but it actually became a recce. And this, I don't know how much you know about the Bob Graham round, but essentially it's really hard. It's 42 peaks. You're supposed to do it in less than 24 hours. It's about 66 miles long. It's about the height of Everest in terms of cumulative ascent. 1 in 3 people fail in doing it. Most people spend a year training for it. You do it when you've done a lot of other stuff. It's not what you start with, it's what you finish with, and then you hang up your trainers type of thing. These aren't trails. It's like proper hardcore physical abuse of your body for a day. You start at 1 o'clock in the morning, mostly, and you hope to finish by the following. Anyway, point is, adventure, as we kind of decided to call it, is where the finish is unknown. We don't know how it will turn out. That is the point of it. So if I'm doing a race, I won't necessarily call that an adventure because I will tend to know that I will finish it, which is fairly guaranteed. What I will encounter en route, depending upon the length of it, is unknown. But if I do a challenge like I did that Bob Graham round, and we did it self-supported, so we were with our own kit, just the 2 of us. We had no pacers, no support crew. We just went off and did it and hoped for the best. Turned out that it wasn't good enough. So but that's fine. We had a great time, and it would have been great to complete it, and we could have done, but we went into that in the time that we were given, 24 hours. So we had gone over that time, and we decided to bin it then. But we had a wonderful time, and that was it. It was an unknown outcome. That is the point. So adventure for me is when the outcome is unknown.
Awesome. When did you get started? Were you always like adventurous, like in the way that you set yourself like a challenge, or was there like one turning point where you just get hooked and you picked one, and from there it was continuous?
No. Essentially, I'm like I'm an only child, so I have no siblings, and I have always had to amuse myself. So, as a child, I built camps. I lived in the countryside. I lived literally in the middle of nowhere. So, my adventures were going somewhere in our land, into the woods or down to the stream. And I built camps, and that was my like mini adventure. and I left school, and then I did no form of exercise for about 7 years. I was too busy at university having fun, and I went to university for 7 years. I did 2 degrees, so I just did that for a while, and I concentrated on other things. I was a musician. I played the piano quite seriously, and I wanted to be a concert pianist, and then I was becoming a linguist, and then I wanted to go to politics and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, so basically, was not interested in sport whatsoever. My vague attempt to be sporty would be joining a gym, which I'd never go to, classic story. So the point at which, I think the turning point would be when I joined the army.
Okay.
That was when I was 25, going on 26. And that is what gave me the confidence, the self-belief, to know that I could do much more than I thought I was capable of. And I was there for about 5.5 years, and after that finished, and when the seed was sown during that time, and after that finished, then I was able, because I had the freedom of manoeuvre, to do my own stuff. And that's when I started entering all sorts of weird and wonderful races. But I've never been backpacking. I haven't done half the things that lots of my kind of compatriots have done. All my stuff has been very organised. It's been within a start and a finish point. It's been at locations, normally within other people. And I haven't done a Dave Caldways. I've done anything fabulous. Everything has been quite, I would call it quite normal. The abnormal section is the fact that nothing has been the same. I've gone from 800-kilometre mountain bike races to, kayaking, Device to Westminster canoe race to cycling from London to John O'Groats to running sub 250 marathons to doing 100-mile ultra marathons to doing multi-stage marathons across jungles and deserts and mountain ranges. There is nothing that I don't like doing. That is that is the thing. I love anything that's hard or interesting or quirky.
That is amazing.
And I've done wife carrying to racing against steam trains to horses to zombies to cars to everything. I'm going to go and become. I've been quite excited about this. But in November, I'm going to go and become the quarry to a fox hunt. So the horses and the hounds will chase after me, which is pretty cool.
Really? You're going to be the fox?
I'm going to be the fox. Yeah.
The fox.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
There's a guy. I have to run it with a guy that knows where he's going. Otherwise, I will just randomly go, and then they can't follow because it'll be private land or whatever. So there's a kind of, not a route, but I have an access, and I can go within that.
They're going to chase you.
Yes.
So they're going to be on a horse.
Yes.
So there will be in London.
No, Derbyshire.
So there is a starting line. You get a little bit time in advance, and then you get
half an hour, 15 minutes maybe.
Is it like an open field?
It's large quantities of land, so it's like countryside basically. They jump over fences, they go through woods, cross streams, all that. So we're ahead of the game, and they chase after us.
This is amazing. Are you going to do a video about it? Because I know that you do films as well.
I do. To be honest with you, I'm a bit of a lapsed filmmaker. I've been spending my time writing more than filming. I feel like I've got skill fade now, so I still know how to do it. I still do it, but I've been focusing on the written word rather than necessarily filming. But I do need to do more of it because it's fun. I was just thinking that the other day. Actually, I need to get my cameras out again and start doing some stuff. But it's very difficult when you're being competitive. Then you don't have time to film. Because you have to make a story. It's all about sequences. So it's not one angle. If you like wearing a GoPro in your head, that's great. But it's really boring to watch. So that I'm not interested in just recording 3 hours of me going forwards. There needs to be shots of me going backwards. Well, not backwards, but from behind, from the side, and from the front. Close angle, wide angle. The whole lot. That is what makes a good film. And there needs to be a narrative. And I need to have time to talk and interview other people and so on. So if I'm actually racing, which generally speaking I am, then I don't have time to do the fun stuff like filming. So that's why I write about it, because that involves, it makes it much easier to balance my life. In fact, I remember having this kind of argument with myself a while ago when I was in conflict with my kind of journalistic ambitions. And the question was, am I a runner first, or an athlete first, or a journalist first?
Mm-hmm.
So what's more important, story or me winning? And I always put winning first and the story second, even though that meant that my career, so to speak, because I've never expected to win any money, there is no money in the sports I do, then that would put that in jeopardy because the story is important. So I couldn't film and be competitive because that moment to stop, turn on my camera or whatever, I'm hurting, I'm going as fast as I can, so I don't have room. If I have room in my body to be able to start filming, then I might as well go faster. So
that is an amazing one. It's an interesting one, the conflict, where it's about making choices. What is going to come first? Do you get overwhelmed by opportunities sometimes? Things that you want to do because you're kind of like getting excited about a lot of things. So
all the time. And you know what? I literally all the time. I have to. I now impose a self-imposed rule of thumb that I'll give myself a day when I hear about something before I mention it to Zane, my future wife, because I have to let myself calm down with excitement. So I have a little moments like at the end of the day, I was on a weekend, we're having a lion for once, and anyway, so I'd come back to bed, we're having breakfast in bed, and I was like randomly reading something, and I read about this race called it's what's it called? I've forgotten the name of it. Probably a good thing. It's not the race across America. It's called like the Trans-American Race. Anyway, it's a cycle race, non-stop across America, and you do it self-supported, which I thought that's even cooler than doing it with a big crew. And it's complicated a bit. And I was like, I must do this race, self-supported race across America. I'm off, and that's it, perfect. And that's like the Tour de Divide. And obviously, when you're trying to tell your wife-to-be that you plan to basically go off on your own across America, but this one is 4,000 miles, they look at you with squinted eyes, and there's a certain degree of when and how long, and I'll give you 2 weeks, that's all we've got.
Oh, you have a deadline.
And even though this is my raison d'etre, but even then, I still have to be careful with what I say, because I can't do everything, and I will do everything. I'll say yes to everything, but now I have to say yes to only the things that I can really, essentially, that will advance my chi.
So you choose things that. How do you choose your adventures? Where you say, okay, this one is one worthwhile.
One worthwhile.
Worthwhile in the way that it's, when you say like you can't do everything at all, so you get to categorize or you get to select that this has something that maybe either makes you grow as a person, that makes you grow as an athlete, or...
That's exactly it. So essentially, the question I ask myself, is this gonna essentially make a difference to my life? Is it gonna give me a good story? Is it gonna be something I can sell? Because ultimately I do everything on commission. So I'd always, before I do something, I'll tend to go to an editor and go, look, this is what I'm doing, what do you reckon? And unless I'm confident that it's a good story, then I won't pitch it. And I get asked to do all sorts of stories all the time. And half of them, maybe not half, but a minority, I will go, I can't do, because I don't have confidence to say, I don't believe in the story. So if someone says, would you like to come and do this thing? I think, one, is it a one-off opportunity? Will this happen again? Will I get to do this again? If the answer is no, then that leads me down to a next part of the flowchart. Will this further my career? Will this make a difference to my life? Will this add to my collection of experiences that will enhance my whole going forward? And if the answer is no, then I drop it. Am I interested? Quite simply, does this excite me as a prospect? Again, if it doesn't, then I won't do it. I mean, it's very easy to kind of pick up stuff that, like this race this weekend, this thing in the river. It sounds fun, but will it advance my career? Probably not. And if I had nothing else to do, I'd do it. But I do, and therefore I'm not going to do it. So that's basically the reason why I'm not how I choose stuff, and also I can't do everything, so I have to pick the things that are important. And equally, if I do everything or try to do everything, I have no time to take stock of what I've done. I will bounce from one once in a lifetime opportunity to the next once in a lifetime opportunity in the literally from one day to the next, and sometimes I forget, I forget that I cycled from London to John O'Groats last summer. It literally doesn't even factor into my brain as something I've done. It flashed by 9 days, bosh, done, out of the way, wrote about it, on to the next thing. I mean, I've done weird and wonderful things that I've totally forgotten about. I mean, things that most people really, really chuffed to have done, and they would build up to, and I just flippantly do. That's the problem with I suppose, when your career is also your hobby, that you look at things as an opportunity, both as something you can earn a coin from, that will be interesting to write about, that will be a collective experience that you can use later. But because you're suddenly bouncing, as soon as that's over, it's like being a builder. You finish one house conversion, it looks beautiful, you're on to the next. You don't go back to that same house and look at it and go, God, look at that house I renovated, it's amazing. I don't do that. I'm already on to the next race before I've even finished the last one. The Ojo, which is like 2 weeks away, huge event. But I've got already 4 marathons in the diary. I've got that. My wedding is in a marathon. It's in the Marathon du Médoc. 2 weeks after. I'm doing the Red Bull steeplechase. I'm doing an ultra marathon in the Lake District as well. I'm probably going to end up doing something called the 3 Peaks cyclocross race. I've never even used the cyclocross, and I'm going to do this thing. I've got another marathon in New York Marathon, the Queenstown Marathon, the Cayman Islands Marathon, and not to mention this obstacle race in January. And then I'm probably going to try and do. Then I'm doing the Dragon's Back race in June, which is this back-to-back 5 days hardcore running across Wales. And I'm going to try and do the Paris-Brest-Paris Audax race, which is massive 1,200 kilometre cycle race from Paris to Brest to Paris. And you have to qualify for that by doing various cycle races or cycle Audaxes for them. So I'm already way down the line of what I've got to do, and I don't have time to train for all of them.
So how do you acknowledge and appreciate that you actually have done it? And have you changed over the time from when you started to actually now taking the time and it's like, wow, I have done that, and actually acknowledge it? Have you changed as a person?
I don't know if I have. I probably should. I haven't. The time I take stock is when I reread my articles, and because they tend to, unless I'm writing online, if they come out in a magazine, they will either come out a couple of months after the events happened, or they might come out the following year, and then I reread that and I go, no, that was cool. I forgot about that. It's really exciting. It's like Christmas. I love seeing my stuff in print. I love seeing. I love revisiting what I've done. That is exciting. It's a child in the background sometimes, and he's getting over it. And so that's when I take stock again. But otherwise, no, I don't. It's bad. I should think about it more, but I don't.
What's your biggest challenge? Some people have fears. Some people overthink. Some people in order to get started or in order to get this, because it seems like it's very easy for you just to snap one after the other. Is there sometimes some emotional, wow, hello honey, how are you doing there? It's all good. That was the wrong word. Now she's starting to cry even more.
I know. I could go over there. 1 second.
No, don't worry. That's fine.
You sure? I don't think it's going to make any difference.
We have a little bit of real life background. That's fine.
Yeah. So go back to your question.
So a lot of people are paralyzed by, because people who are going to watch this as well, they want to do adventures, but they are held back by fears, or there's something sometimes coming up that either stops you, or you just think too long. Do you somehow have emotional things where you've just learned how to deal with them? Because I think everyone has them. But
I have now I've got the confidence to know that there isn't much I can't do.
Say it again.
The only time I pause for thought is when I question my ability. And so, for instance, if it's a running event, there aren't many occasions when I will go, I can't do that, unless it's really technical, in which case that involves skill. And if it's a skill that I don't have, then I kind of go, well, how can I acquire it? So, on the whole, the key is to build up that confidence where you know you can do something. And then you don't question it so much, then it just becomes a kind of, well, of course I can. But the point is, you need to be interested. So if you know you can already do it, then going back to your original question, what is adventure? If the outcome is not unknown, then is there a point in doing it? Now, I don't have, unfortunately, the opportunity to go off and do massive full-length expeditions all the time. I haven't ever done one. All my stuff is very much bite-sized stuff that you can fit into a weekend, into a day, or into a week at most. The longest I've ever done a race is 9 days in a row. And the reason being, it's a bloody long time to be doing anything. Anyway, outside of that, you can't do it. You can't fit it if you can't fit it into a holiday, into your annual leave, then the chances are most people aren't going to be able to do it at all. So I like to try and do things that other people can do. The reason why, like doing the OT Low, it's a race that's outside of my comfort zone. That is unknown to me. That's what I like about it. It scares me into training. And I don't train. Training gives off the impression that you actually follow a program and that you do something every day that you build up towards that event. Let's say I'm doing a 100-mile race, and I will start off with doing, each weekend I'll do a long run. And by the time I get, a month before the race, I might have done my longest run, which might be 75 miles. And then, and I'll go, cool, it's in the bag now, I'm going to do it. I don't do that. I did a 75-mile race. I did 2 ultramarathons in June. I've done no training for one whatsoever. One was a road marathon, the Comrades marathon. It's like a 90-kilometre road race. I hate running on roads. I live in London. I hate running on roads. And it's all downhill, which kills your quads. But I knew I had to do it because it's like a bucket list race. And it was the best race ever. I absolutely loved it. I hated it. I wanted to finish within 3 hours of running. I wanted it to be over because it was beginning to hurt. And then in the end, I crawled my way. But the point is, it's called Comrades because every single runner out there is your comrade. They are there to help you get to the finish. That's what made it special. But there was no question of me not finishing. It's just a question of how well I would do compared to what I think I should do. Yeah. I think I can run 2:45 marathons every weekend. That's what I imagine I can do. I can't. I've never done one. But that's what I think I can. Therefore, I should be running that pace. So if I don't meet my expectations, then I'm disappointed. So essentially going back to the thought, which is choose things that are scary enough that make you want to do some work for. Mm-hmm. Not so scary that it's unrealistic, but fun in that you'll gain a life experience from, and you're looking forward to doing it and it being over. But then you'll have a really nice stepping stone to the next thing.
That is really nice. How do you find your adventures?
Literally, how do I find them? Like, where do I look for them?
Or do they just pop when you read? You read and it's like, ooh, that's a good one.
So, like, classic example. I've got a book review today.
World's Ultimate Running Races.
Yeah. So, that's got 500 races in it. I'm literally writing an article as we speak called The 7 Wonders of the Running World. So, by doing that, I'm not looking at I've done 150 races, so I've got a few up the bank already, but I look for new ones. So I'm looking at kind of new races that I think that sounds interesting, that sounds fun, a race that's stress, a race up a mountain, whatever it is. So I'm looking for new ideas, and that's how I end up finding half the stuff I do. Or someone says to me, I've got just the race for you, you'll love this. Go and do this. But actually, I'm actually probably going to start doing less races in the future and more of the kind of DIY challenges. I call them DIY, adventure DIY. So
that's a good title for a book, Adventure DIY.
Yeah, probably could be. be. Yeah. Probably not very SEO friendly though. But so I want to do things more kind of
Creating
challenges around collecting, like the Wainwright Challenge or Munro's or doing 24-hour challenges. That's cool. You've got a finite amount of time to go and do as much as you can in that time. I like the sound of that.
What was the last one? I missed that one. The 24 what?
24-hour challenges.
Oh, so challenges you can do in 24 hours.
Yes. So, like the Bob Graham Run, that's a 24-hour challenge. You've got the Welsh Traverse, which is a thing across the Brecon Beacons. You've got the other kind of rounds. You've got Charlie Rounds with Paddy Buckley. You've got, there's 1,001 different 24-hour challenges that you can do. Even if you just did something like like the Devizes to Westminster, the canoe race, that is technically a 24-hour race. You hope to do it in less than 24 hours. So that's the kind of thing I like the sound of. I want to, I'm just looking at doing a kind of arch-to-arch triathlon. Off-road, though. So I don't want to do the one that everybody else does. I'm not interested in trying to break a record. I don't want to touch road. That's the reason I don't want to do that race, is because the road section from the Marble Arch down to Dover, it ain't interesting. It's all along a busy road. Don't want to do that. So I want to do a trail arch-to-arch. That would be cool.
Trail arch-to-arch.
So yeah, basically, trail run down to Dover, and then sort of channel, and then mountain bike my way to Paris. That's more interesting.
That's really cool. That's really awesome. And you can absolutely. It's
done. Yeah.
Do you? You have an adventure never stops. You're gonna have an adventurous wedding as well, no?
I am, I am. We're having several actually, but yeah, we're indeed getting married at the Marathon du Médoc. So we're in fancy dress. There's no wedding dress, so to speak. I'm going to be dressed as an African warrior.
I would have expected that.
As you do. So I've got beads. I've got a shield. I've got a feather thing that's sticking out of my head. I'm a chieftain. And Zane is my chiefess. I'm having a word myself. What is a chieftain's bride called? Anyway, and all our guests are also in African warrior kit.
Why African? You just picked it.
Because she is South African.
Ah.
So and she likes that sort of thing. So that's why we're doing it. I have no choice about that. I went to go and see if, I don't have any choice. So we're, it's going to be cool.
That's awesome. And I also have seen you did like a tandem together with her to see like a test. Like
our relationship. A communication test. Yeah. So we do these little tests from time to time. Like we did a night race together. We've run a marathon together. The Marathon du Médoc was the last time we ran a marathon together. We had such fun. And we had to drink at every station, which is why our wedding is taking place this very one. And the tandem ride was good because we'd never ridden a tandem before, and it was when I met you, and I couldn't wear shoes, so I had to wear flip-flops. And flip-flops, cycling on a tandem, on a retro tandem,
you cycled them in flip-flops.
I cycled on a tandem in flip-flops in London during the rain. It was raining. We were in waterproofs. It was awesome fun. But it takes communication. So I like to get off on my left foot. Zayn likes to get off on her right foot. I was in charge, being the steerer, so to speak, and so we had to communicate we had to agree on what side of the bike to get off at, to stop when we stop at traffic lights. We had to tell each other that we're now stopping. I had to tell her that we're now stopping, and that I'm getting off the bike and I'm going to stop pedaling because we have to pedal at the same time. And then we have to start pedaling at the same time and get in sync. And I found when you're going through bollards, the little things, you wobble a lot. You start to get really worried that you're about to go kind of into the bollard. So that's not good. And but that was good for us as well because we're like confidence. So she has to have confidence in me being able to not kill us. And it was a good thing. So we do lots of stuff like that. So we did that mountain biking through France. We went on the fancy dress mountain bike called the Médoc, where they got the Médoc marathon on mountain bike. We ran for 5 days around the Tour de Mont Blanc route, self-supported. We literally just off the cuff decided to go the following week. We looked roughly, went, I reckon we could do about 20 miles a day. What do you reckon? Yeah. So booked some refuges, and we never run that far before. We've done no big training for it.
Wow.
That was the best holiday I've ever had. And we've done obstacle course races together. We don't race all the time. In fact, we race rarely together. But when we do, I choose the ones I decide that would be better to have. It's more about completing it and having fun than necessarily doing well enough.
That is amazing. What did you learn, like, doing these? What did you learn about relationships and communication?
To communicate. The most important thing, like we cycled from London to Brussels together. And again, that was on a whim. So, Monday morning we go, let's go to Brussels this weekend. By Friday, we're now leaving to go to Brussels. Booked a one-way ticket to get back. And yeah, we also chose like a Hurricane 4-scale weekend to do it. And I discovered that, we discovered that essentially what I think might be easy is not necessarily easy for someone else. So you have to kind of be aware of someone else's strengths. And she had not injured, but she developed an injury. Let's say her knee was hurting. So when someone else is in pain, but you can't see that pain, i.e. they have fallen over, it's just like a repetitive strain injury. You have to kind of allow for that. But equally, you don't. When it's a mental thing, I'm finding this really difficult. I can't go any faster. To a pain thing, and there's lots of. There's kind of a expensive thing, but you basically have to be very patient, very understanding, not be in a rush, enjoy the moment, and we made a rule that when we were doing this Tour de Mont Blanc thing, I like going up hills fast. She doesn't like going up hills fast, bike or foot. So I would be allowed let off the leash. I'd run up the hill, but the rule was if I got to a junction, a T-junction or a crossroads, I stop. I don't go anywhere because otherwise, if she gets there, I think, hang on, did you go left? Did you go straight on? Where did you go? Then there's a problem. So that was our thing, and I only once went too far.
And you guys got lost.
And literally too far. And I carried on about another mile around the mountain, which I thought I was waiting to get to the top of the mountain.
Where are you gone? Oh, where's he gone? We have a pretty picture of Tobias.
Yeah.
It was so nice. We had like a really oh.
So I don't know what happened there.
Your lovely face. That's
cut off. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. Now I can't see you. Now I can see you back. So you went off too far.
So basically, I went off way too far, and then I was just had my little camera thing, and I was just going, "Oh, isn't this a wonderful place?" And I wonder where Zane is. And the next thing I heard was, Zane, sorry, Tobias, where the fuck are you? Right, angry voice. And I thought, oh.
Shit.
And I went right off, and I ran back down thinking, well, I thought actually she was in trouble. And she wasn't, but this very red-faced, annoyed-looking girlfriend of mine popped around the corner, and she wasn't amused. And she'd been worried that I'd fallen off the mountain or something, and she didn't know where I was, and there wasn't much phone signal. So anyway, yeah. So I learned my lesson not to go too far. So that's the other point is if you are going to go ahead, only go as far as the junction.
You learn. What advice would you give people that want to do adventures, but they're just like, where am I going to start? Because adventure, some people think it needs to be a big one, and I think what they see through this is in, So you got to find what you actually said, what is fun, what makes you grow as a person, and then go from there and pick anything. You can find inspirations everywhere.
It literally doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so it totally depends upon your goals. So if you're looking for something that you want to excel at, so you want to be competitive, you want to do well at, then you need to choose a certain type of race. There's a realistic expectation of you doing well. If it's to, I might choose something that. Okay, so I went to the World Wife Carrying Championship.
Mm-hmm. The world?
Not the world. Sorry, the UK. The UK Wife Carrying Championships. I wanted to go to the world ones, but I didn't. But,
Okay.
So I went to wife carrying one day. I thought I'd be quite good at this. Zane's really light. I'm quite light, quite fast. I'm reasonably strong. Not that strong, it turns out. And you need to be quite heavy and strong, and your wife needs to be really light. And we came sixth. I thought we'd do a lot better there. All the people there were, apart from the guy that won, weren't really like competitive athletes at all. And but we had this amazing time doing it. Such fun. So if it's something fun to look forward to, that helps. I think. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening.
So then there's the kind of the once in a lifetime bucket list kind of race. You know, your multi-stage jungle, desert, mountain type thing that you enter like a year in advance, maybe two, and that gives you. Then all the little things that lead you to that race are just like kind of your testers, your things that build up your confidence. So let's say you're doing the Marathon de Sable. You know, you would choose races that allow you to get to the start line that you think would be helpful for you in your training. They become fun in themselves. It might be that you go, okay, cool, I don't want to do anything. You might set yourself a parameter and go, I don't want to do anything that lasts more than an hour. That's all I want to do. Only interested in things. Or it might be that you are only interested in trail stuff. That's all I'm interested in. Although I do road things as well. The only time I do a road thing is if I want to do a PB. So I have this goal of doing a sub 2:35 marathon. Will I do it? I don't know. I'm still 15 minutes off. But if I trained for it and I work really hard, there's a good chance I could. I mean, I'm capable of doing it. But in order to do that, I then need to concentrate on running road marathons. The question is, am I interested enough to do that?
That's a good
I don't know. So it goes back to how do you choose? Literally, it goes around your goals and aspirations. Is it to be fast? Is it to go somewhere beautiful? Is it to widen your mind? Is it just to get you started and get you motivated? It might be that you don't like running enough, but you quite like the idea of running with something fun in it. So, you know, I went to zombie racing a while back. It was really good fun. 5K, most fun I've ever had in 5K. Being chased by zombies, really cool. I can imagine that.
Where did you do this one?
It's called the Zombie Evacuation Race. It was down at Kippington Park, and it's down in Sussex, Surrey, that area. Maybe that's Kent, I'm not sure. Anyway, south of England, south of East England, and not certain of the county. And it was one fun, not competitive, not really. There'd be the first three people or so were competitive. I went to one of those, and the rest of us were the rest of the people were just there to have fun, basically. Wow. So that's it.
That's awesome. People can actually see this on their website as well, Tobias Mews. You have all your adventures on there?
Not all. That's the problem of being a journalist, is that you write less for yourself and more for other people. So by the time I've written something about something 2 or 3 times, I tend to don't have the kind of brain power to all the time, really, because I'm really on to the next thing, to write about it for myself. But I am writing a book at the moment about 50 iconic races to do before you die. So that will be an opportunity
50
to read about that.
50, which one? 50 aquatic?
Iconic
races before you die. I'm looking forward. When is it going to come out?
June 2016. So that's a while to go.
That is awesome.
I need time to do them all. 35 in the moment.
That is awesome. That was really good. Amazing. So, that was really good. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it's really. I think it's interesting. I found it interesting, different ways of looking of how different adventures think, approach, and hopefully people who are going to watch this pick up different things for themselves. Whereas, just breaking it apart, the whole adventuring and redefining what is adventuring, and it's actually just a way of thinking. It's a way of living. It's not the odd adventure. It's you start living like this, and you're training the muscle to do it more.
Yeah, it's a mental muscle. It's a physical muscle, and what's quite cool is every single thing you do is like it's in the bank. It's there. Your body will remember it, and it becomes it goes back to the confidence thing. It just becomes easier and easier, but more fun because your abilities grow, your skill level grows, your experience grows, and then it allows you to widen the net and do stuff that's more adventurous in terms of further out of your comfort zone. The idea being that essentially it's all about knocking down the wall of the wall of
Thinking.
Of what's the word? Not lack of confidence, but essentially that thing that goes, oh, I'm too scared to do it. I'm not good enough. I'm not fit enough. I can't do it.
The stories that you make up.
It's chipping away at that. That is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, it sounds like you're breaking up. But so it's just chipping away at that. And as I said, just to choose things in a pub that you actually get excited about, and that your family and friends will like the idea of. You need to enjoy talking about it. That's the key.
That is awesome. I want to do a race, something with you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we can do something.
Not swimming.
I was gonna say we can do the swimming one.
That is swimming one. I tell you what. The cold water swimming championships in January in the Titi Lido.
Oh, that's cold water. Yeah, cool. When is it?
I hate cold water, so you'll be fine.
I started to hate cold water. Honestly, I was a little bit traumatized. Because when you're swimming 10 days, 20k a day, the temperature was like 7 degrees to 10, and I had like a 3 mil wetsuit, and you're like starting to shake underwater, and you're like, it wasn't really the swimming, but I love swimming, but I was like, you had to go out to warm up, and you had to go back in, and this like 4 times, and every time you go into the water, the whole cold water would sink in, and I never, like initially I didn't have anyone with me, so I was just like doing it, how do you warm up when it was cold outside, and I started to hate cold water. I was just like freaking traumatized.
It's the faith.
Yeah.
Everything
so maybe
else
let's do the cold water.
Cold face.
Yeah, let's do the cold water championships, because whatever you hate, you do it. No.
Exactly, and then it's a tick in the box. Done. Don't need to do that again.
That's a deal. It's in.
Okay. January.
Can.
I'll see you there.
Absolutely. I'll see you another time.
No wetsuits.
Yeah. No wetsuits. Let's stay in touch. I'll see what you're up to, and yeah. Go for a run, go for a swim, do something if you're around.
Since it's now sunny, let's go for a run.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to teach me how to run barefoot properly.
Yeah, we go for a run and then we do some stuff, some trail run maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely cool.
Yeah, good.
Definitely.
I'll drop you a message on Facebook.
Perfect. I shall look forward to it.
Thank you,
Nadine,
Tobias.
it's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
Bye. Take care, my dear. Bye.